Saw this tweet from Top Hat Studios, and honestly, I'm pretty happy with this. I really am. Now, before we read what they had to say, let me just specify that I don't really know if this one game, like since a Cyberpunk Ghost Story, I don't know if it has been getting any more or less hate than other games or other similar like indie or small games. I don't know if it's particularly getting any more hate, because I'd be curious to know why they have a hate boner for this game instead of all the others. But regardless, Top Hat Studios decided to respond to it, because I see other games getting this level of bullshit hate, but the developers of those other games, they either ignore them or, sometimes they appease them, which, instantly tanks all their credibility as far as I'm concerned. But either way, there was a massive amount of Karens reeing about this game because the character designs are too sexualized. Like I said, common shit that literally everyone else has to deal with. And this, by the way, it's a horror game. And they're trying to lie and say, this is like some porn game. It's some adult. No, it's not. It's a horror game. It's rated 17 plus, I believe they said. It's not rated fucking adults only for a reason. But, there's only two types of NPCs I noticed. There's the ones that intentionally mislead people, and then there's the useful idiots that just believe everything the ones who intentionally mislead tell them without question. There's a lot of that going on. But either way, Top Hat Studios has decided to actually take a stand. When most companies would either bend the knee or just ignore the problem, they've spoken out. Official statement regarding calls demanding censorship of Cyberpunk Ghost Story. Our commitment to our audience and our developers is we will never infringe on creative freedom or expression. Someone should publish a lolly game and test that, but, let's save that for another time. But let's read the statement. With the recent news of Cyberpunk Ghost Story coming to the Nintendo Switch, we are aware of a large amount of messages and demands aimed towards the game's console platform release based on lies, claims that it is explicitly pornographic or somehow encourages violence, or most ridiculously, somehow breaks the law. Furthermore, voices have attempted to advocate making the sale of the game untenable through demanding harsh censorship aimed towards the developer's art style, which with threats to review bomb the game and or harass its distributors. So, but I just want to mention, this isn't the first time. The developers and the publisher went through this when the game released on Steam earlier this year as well. But now it's being released on the Switch, so they're going through it again with the Switch. And thankfully, Nintendo has been taking a hands-off approach to third-party games, but we'll see how this goes. They've so far they've actually been standing up. In addition, we have received death threats from those who feel threatened by what essentially boils down to an aesthetic decision of how pixels are arranged on a screen. While disappointed at these behaviors, we are certainly not surprised. Yeah, like I said before, they went through this before. They already went through this shit with the Steam release of the game, and now they're going through it again with the Nintendo release. About the only avenue that these Puritans could hope to actually hurt this game is with Nintendo themselves. And Nintendo, the Nintendo headquarters in Japan, they seem to have been keeping Nintendo of America on a much, much shorter leash than they ever had in the past. They probably learned their lesson with the Fire Emblem Fates and Tokyo Mirage Sessions fiascos and all the negative press they got for that. Yeah, oh God, what was it? One of their employees was like moonlighting as a prostitute, and oh yeah, all sorts of interesting things going on with the Treehouse, Nintendo of America, and all that. But I doubt Nintendo was gonna do shit, and nobody should do anything. Imagine if every single developer responded to a REEEEEing outrage mob the way Top Hat's doing right here. Imagine if this was the norm instead of the exception. I keep seeing these fake geeks still trying to gaslight Top Hat Games. One of them was there before. Come on, guys. No one's trying to censor you. We're just trying to give you constructive criticism. And you're sitting there just dog whistling to the alt-right. So I actually responded to one of them on this thread. Yeah, you keep saying that, but unfortunately for you, if you encounter a company like a developer or publisher, whatever, that's owned by actual fans of the content they're producing, they're going to be a lot harder to trick and confuse and mislead than the bean counters that run the mainstream companies. Because the bean counters that aren't even fans of gaming, they're just professional managers, you can easily trick them. It's so fucking easy to trick a bean counter just by saying that, oh, if you go more inclusive and more diverse, that's going to expand your audience, right? But with actual fans, you've already lost. You can't win if actual fans are running the companies, because they can smell the bullshit. And I've loved seeing these people just get shredded in the comments too. Like, this isn't for you. Go away. No one cares about you or your opinions. We don't want you here. You're not welcome here. We're not trying to be inclusive of you. Fuck off. Now, it's not Top Hat themselves that are saying this. It's the the other commenters. But finally, other people have started to say what I've been saying for fucking ages. Let us be clear on this. We will not censor the game because of self-centered crowds who care solely about grandstanding. We categorically and absolutely refuse to restrict creative expression. Creators should be allowed freedom to express themselves, particularly when it is an expression of the subcultures they have been immersed in. As a cyberpunk game, Sense uses imagery and themes relating to a future of hyper-commercialized, over-commodified imagery as part of its cyberpunk theme and inspiration. This is reflected in all character designs. With that said, we expect that this is lost on those attacking the developer for being harmful and somehow inflicting violence and pain. Yeah, these people are fake geeks. They aren't actual fans. They're just making shit up. Again, you could trick a bean counter, but when you get a fake fan trying to trick a real fan, it's never gonna fucking work. Stop trying. You're embarrassing yourselves. Those who believe words or images inflict violence should perhaps stop spurting their own hateful, false rhetoric and also cease condoning death threats to those they disagree with. Yeah, isn't it ironic how the most hateful, bigoted people are the ones that claim to be anti-hate and anti-racism and all that? The most hateful, bigoted people I have ever met are all SJWs, all of them. We reject any and all of the aforementioned brazen characterizations of the game and would like to reiterate our principles against tampering with creators' expressions. We would also like to reiterate this game is rated 17 plus or PEGI 18. It is not an adults-only game, nor have any laws been broken, as some social media commenters have ridiculously claimed out of their biases. The game's rating reflects the target audience, and yet this fact is lost on those who have been led by a will to blindly crusade against their false perceptions. Yep, these are the useful idiots I was talking about. These are the useful fucking idiots. They will believe anything they're told as long as it fits their agenda, and they will not even question it. They'll just run with it. And this is the result. Although, thankfully, there are some companies out there that are fighting against it. And most importantly, look right here. The game's rating reflects the target audience. That's the key. Target audience. You see this mainstream fucking AAA industry? You remember when you used to make games for a target audience? Back when you used to make good games? You remember how your games started going to shit once you were making them inclusive and for everyone, for a wider audience? I'm going to laugh so hard when all these legacy companies get bankrupted just because what they're doing is they're fighting for crumbs of the wider audience. Because literally everybody that has AAA money is going for these wider audiences. All of them. They're all fighting for the same watered down, lowest common denominator, slop consuming wider audiences. I would rather have effectively a monopoly on a niche audience than fight for the fucking scraps of a wider audience. Just fight for relevance there. And that's ultimately what's going to win this fight in the end. Now, AAA is never going to go away. The companies that are currently in charge, like they currently run the franchises that everyone is playing, they'll be fine. But everyone else who's trying to jump on the bandwagon, like, oh, Battle Royale is popular. We're going to make our own Battle Royale. Fortnite players are going to look at it and go, whatever. Doesn't fucking matter. We already have Fortnite. We don't want your cheap knockoff. So once again, since a Cyberpunk Ghost Story is rated ESRB M17+ or PEGI 18, the game will release as planned and without censorship on the 7th of January current year for Nintendo Switch. It can be pre-ordered and preloaded now on the Nintendo eShop. See, well played. Definitely advertise here. Whenever the Outrage mob comes for you, you hook them up to a fucking plow and put them to work. You use this outrage to make money. That's how you do it, man. The game has passed QA on other platforms and release dates are being decided. Hopefully not on PlayStation, because if it's on PlayStation, it's going to have to be censored. The game will not be censored. We categorically refuse. I guess that's going to be the test. If they release it on PlayStation and it is censored, we're going to have some questions, man. But for now, things are looking good. I would say avoid PlayStation completely if that's one of the other platforms, because let's be honest, man, the Nintendo Switch is still outselling the PS5 like what, 4-1? A console that's less powerful than the last gen consoles is outselling the new current gen console. Now, you can say, oh, that's because of the stock shortages and all that. No, that's definitely part of it. But you also got to look at the lack of freaking games, the lack of content. Just being able to upscale a few previous games isn't really worth it. There's like nothing worth a shit. Ah, well, whatever. I'm sure that once all the YouTubers and Twitch streamers get their consoles so they can write them off on their taxes, we'll see how their sales go then. But in the meantime, I mean, you're already on PC and you're going to be on Switch. What other platforms do you need? Oh man, I am so excited to tell you guys right now that finally, after about a year of build-up and shilling, we have launched Blade Devil on Indiegogo, and so far it is doing so well thanks to awesome people like you. If you haven't backed it yet, then please check the links in the description and check out Blade Devil on Indiegogo. You will not be disappointed. Looking forward to seeing you there.